more dollars in a few more spots and more talent, and we can do better. If you let that die, you're opening yourself up for a whole lot of trouble as far as people being out of work.
Terrible catch. Short, taken by Ian McCardle at the 44-yard line. Cleveland with pretty good field position, only 30 yards on the punt. Back in a moment.
Like a Chevrolet trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Taco Bell. Tacos, burritos, nachos, and a whole lot more. By Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. And by Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
All right, Testaverde. Pump left, comes back right, and incomplete. Andre Rison, the intended receiver. Meanwhile, in the dog pound as he takes a shot.
Yeah, he took a good shot.
That's John Thompson, the spiritual leader of the dog pound. You saw for a moment. Now we'll go back to the replay.
Vinny takes a real nice little put down there. He gets to follow it the whole way and threw that one low and inside to Rison.
So it's second down and 10. And back to the ground, and that means, of course, Ernest Biner. Back to the dog pound. This is the man he started it all, John Thompson. Big dog. So an end of an era and end of a big part of his life. This is the last game here in the stadium with the Cleveland Browns. He said, I'm going to keep the whole uniform. I'll put it on a mannequin. I'll put it down in the basement and
it better
pass
be
it all on to my big mannequin.
Yeah, I tell you what, he isn't putting that outfit on a regular store-bought mannequin. He's going to go to a big and tall man's shop for a mannequin.
Over the middle, pass is complete to Harold Bishop. Only his 14th reception of the year, and he picks up 17 yards. And the middle is wide open.
Well, the reason is, just like you saw in that touchdown to McCardle, they're concentrating on the outside so much, there is nobody, and I mean nobody, even thinking about covering him. I mean, Harold Bishop was he was lonely. He was a lonely tight end.
First down, 35-yard line. Here's Ricky Powers. Powers with his second carry of the ball game. This one good for 9 yards. Andre Collins with the tackle.
Charlie, that offensive line, watch the surge up front. Tony Jones back in at left tackle, gets a nice block. Everett gets a nice block. I mean, they're taking things over right now. And they're attacking. And I mean, they're going right at Rucker 95.
Second down and short. And here's Powers again, and he's going to pick up the first down to the 24-yard line. R.D. Smith makes the tackle for Cincinnati.
Well, they like that game plan so much at the beginning of the game, Charlie. They've come out here in the second half with the exact same idea. They're in here with at least 2 tight ends, power running, which is the tight end on a first pass, but it's exactly the same thing. And just like when they started the first half, they didn't stop it. If they don't stop it, they're going to see a whole lot of running back.
And Ernest Biner now checks in as Powers comes out. And Biner play action fake. And Testaverde throws this one away, but he can do that, of course, when he's chased out of the pocket. It was Ricardo McDonald who was chasing him out of the pocket as Dave Shula looks on.
Well, McDonald had nothing to do with that play action fake to Biner.
But he didn't buy any of it, did he?
He didn't buy that. See, but that's contained. That's maintaining your responsibility. Watch McDonald come from the left. If you collapse and you bite that thing, you give Vinny Testaverde all sorts of time to throw that ball. He doesn't do that.
Second and 10. Five-step drop. Quick release, way under throw. Andre Rison, the intended receiver. The boos don't have to be to Testaverde. Here's a terrible throw.
Well, no, it's a little bit of mix. I mean, it's mostly for Andre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're booing Andre, but the first thing Vinny did was, after he threw this ball, he pointed at himself.
My fault.
He gets kind of a laugh out of Andre Rison because Rison runs this thing. He's wide open over there. It just takes an average throw. An average throw is a completion. A terrible throw gets your wide receiver booed.
Third down and 10.
Life's not fair.
It never has been. Down the sideline, come back, and it's going to be incomplete.
Well, I mean, he almost like Vinny felt like he owed him one, so he had to try to throw one, and he almost threw that right into the arms of Andre Collins.
Yeah. You have a feeling that Rising's going to say, okay, go to the other side for a while.
Go away. Watch a quick roll here. He's looking at Andre the whole way. Now he's going to let it go, and it's one of those things you wish you had it on a string, because, I mean, how can you not see 55?
From the 32-yard line, 42-yard field goal attempt by Matt Stover. He is hit from 37. This would set a personal record for him. This would be his 27th of the year, and he's got it. From 47 yards away, the Browns add 3 more. As we step aside, they lead it 20-3, back with a kickoff.
There's nothing like a good bacon cheeseburger.
It is Super Bowl 30.
Mike Brown, the son of my friend Paul Brown, for whom the Cleveland Browns were named. He, of course, now the head of the Cincinnati Bengals, and Cincinnati with the return. Here is Hill, out to the 20-yard line. And Sutter makes the tackle, 18 yards on the return. Michael Brown, well, that's official, but he's Mike to everybody. Wears the same kind of hat as his dad. His dad was quite a man. I really enjoyed his company. First time I ever played golf with him, of course, he started so many things. The messenger service was one, and he was always the coach. And we played golf, and he clubbed everybody in the foursome. This is a 7-iron. Hit it. Okay, yes, sir. We had a great time together.
You didn't question?
No, sir. You didn't question. Cincinnati from the 20. Out of the left flat. Pass is complete to Harold Green. And he's going to pick up the first down as we pick our way to New York for an update.
All right, Charlie, a couple of Buffalo turnovers have turned into Miami points after an interception. Dan Marino, 25 yards to Eric Green right down the middle. And with the point after, it's a 13-13 tie at Rich Stadium. Let's go back to Charlie and Randy.
Just as advertised. Good ball game.
Well, you know, talk about a guy, you know, people make fun of Miami not playing in the cold, but Eric Green, coming from Pittsburgh, has played a little cold weather.
Yeah. And this pass is too tough. By the way, those of the Browns fans that are watching on satellite, stop calling. The phone, stop calling, stop calling. We have the phones, they've just been going nonstop. Calls from New York, Mississippi, California, Florida, Alaska, Kentucky, Arizona, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Indiana, North Carolina, Oregon, Louisville, Washington, D.C., Colorado, Illinois, Montana, Arkansas, Wyoming, and more, and I'll give you the others. And the fax is still coming in. Second down. And it is intercepted. It's intercepted by Pepper Johnson. Pepper Johnson has his second interception and a 22-yard return.
Charlie, Jeff Blake had 5 passes deflected or knocked down last time they played. Right now, he's had 4 passes deflected or knocked down. No passing lane troubles there. That ball is right on the money. It deflects out of Jeff Cothran's hands right into Pepper Johnson's. The heart and soul of this Cleveland Browns fire and defense is Pepper Johnson with a big play.
And at the 18-yard line of Cincinnati.
Remember the middle of the football field, Charlie. They've been making their living inside. Bengals are concerned about the wideouts. That meant the slot receiver or the tight end.
And they go back to the ground, and here is Biner. And those Cleveland Browns fans that are watching also in Connecticut, Delaware, Idaho, lots from West Virginia, Ohio, and Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ontario, a call from Okinawa, and that's just the first page, Raleigh, Denver, Melbourne, Florida, Sarasota, Space Coast, Wilmington, Fort Collins, Atlanta, Tennessee, Northridge, St. Louis, Savannah, Omaha. And we really appreciate everybody calling in, and so on, and there's more. There's more. And there's more to the offense of the Cleveland Browns. And they recall Ernest Biner. just continues with it today, doesn't he?
Well, what it is there, Ernest Biner, is just if you don't stop it, it's more of the same. You know, if you liked it the first time, you're just absolutely going to love it the 37th time because they're just going to keep giving it to you inside. And what that's done, that's softened up two areas. That's softened up the inside for the run, where Biner's had 19 carries for 75 yards, and it's softened up the inside of the pass defense.
Biner's next carry, by the way, will be his 20th. He has rushed for 19. Now they go to the air. Do they get in? No, not quite. Keenan McCardle is stopped by John Copeland.
And Charlie, guess where they settled Keenan McCardle in, and Vinny Testaverde just delivers them that ball. Right over the inside. And you define the inside from anything from where the tight end lines up and tackles inside. 70. Right over the right tackle is where McCardle catches that ball and almost gets in for 6.
So it is first down and goal to go. And here is Biner with his 20th carry, and he is turned away. And so the Bengals turn him back. Or was that Ricky Powers? No, it's Biner.
Yeah, and Biner, watch what happens. You see him, he's kind of signaling to get out here. But, you know, watch what happens when he carries the ball. When he carried the ball here, watch the weight of his body and get back over his heels. Right there. He starts to make that cut.
73 is eligible also. 73.
He starts to make that cut. The weight gets over on his heels. By the time the weight gets on his heels, the defense catches him.
Defensive left tackle, 280-pound Tim Goad is the fullback. And Biner behind him. He's going to be pushed away again. And he is turned back for the second time.
Boy, they're just getting no push on that left side. And once again, Biner is not going in with that forward thrust, that body lean, that when there's nothing there can help you to create things.
Brett Wallerstadt leading the Bengal defense.
Now watch the forward lean. He's got the ball, but look how high he is.
Yes.
There's no forward lean there. There's no attack in that run. He's not getting great blocking, but they're going to stop you every time that way.
It's going to be third down and 1, and the Browns take a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. As we come back to Cleveland Stadium, 7:10 time remaining, third quarter. It'll be third down and 1. The ball still just inside the 1-yard line, as the first 2 thrusts by the Cleveland Browns from this spot have been turned away by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, they're trying to get that last couple of shovels of dirt on the Cincinnati Bengals here today, but they just can't quite get it in there. This is pure push and run.
And it may be a quarterback sneak here. No, he's going to throw. That's up, fires, and it's knocked away. Roger Jones makes the play. McCardle, the intended receiver.
What?
So 3 times Cincinnati turns Cleveland back, and they'll go with a field goal attempt.
Give me a break. What is this? You got about a yard to go. You got a big physical offensive line. You come out in a spread and you throw it. That's bad. No, that's not bad. That's terrible. That's terrible. You got 3 cracks. Take that extra crack. You're up 17. Take 2 cracks. Go on 4th down, but get 6.
19-yard field goal attempt is good for 3. So Matt Stover now is 3 for 3. And the Browns lead it 23-3.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
After the kind of day you put in, all you want to do is fall into a nice, comfortable, easy chair in a quiet place.
Like a rock,
Of course, sooner or later, you'll have to go home.
like a rock.
Oh, not now. It's 1 in the morning. My brain's fried. Just give me your CD drive. Give it a rest, will ya?
The Compact LTE 5000. Has it changed your life yet?
We've invested billions to help businesses grow and provided billions more to improve homes and finance educations. We developed special insurance to pay for nursing home care and low-cost life insurance for people over 50. Because at Transamerica, we sell life insurance, but our real business is improving your life. Transamerica, life insurance, leasing, commercial, and consumer loans.
You know, I made a decision today. I'm not going back to the office.
Great.
Relax. I didn't say I wasn't going back to work.
The compact Presario. Has it changed your life yet?
You may have noticed a couple of plays ago that Biner was signaling to the sideline he'd lost a contact. And now he either has a probably just has a backup.
There it is right there. It's on his finger.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure it, and then nothing frustrates you more.
Oh, those soft lenses.
Yeah, what are the chances of getting dirt on a soft lens on a sideline during a football? Pretty good. You're getting some dirt in your eye. Well, you know, contact was one thing the Cleveland Browns didn't have there. Not very good contact. And I thought they also had terrible play calling. I think you go on third, you go on fourth if you have to.
And it was all set up, of course, by Pepper Johnson's interception. Here is Hill on the return for the Bengals, and he is decked by Ed Sutter, 17 yards on the return. Tonight, NBC starts the evening with Lost Civilizations, The Mysteries of Egypt. That's followed by a special all-new holiday episodes of Mad About You and Hope and Gloria. Then is Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo and the comedy hit National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, all tonight here on NBC.
Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase is a great part in there where he's putting Christmas lights on his house. He's got like 2 million Christmas lights on his house. My wife Patrice is doing the same thing at our house. She's like,
2 million?
Now she's had like 100 a day. I think she finally blew a socket out yesterday. Yeah, that's right. I get to put the next 20 million up.
Yeah, that's right. Here's a screen right side. Pass is complete to James Joseph. Larry Webster with the tackle for Cleveland.
Got a Brown down. That's Dan Footman, who's played so good today.
He really has, hasn't he?
Well, watch the end of this play as Joseph comes out of the backfield for this toss. Footman reacts very well to the screen, catches it from the backside. Where does he land?
Ooh.
See, right there, Joseph lands right on Dan Footman's stomach.
That's like an aircraft carrier. Kablooh. We'll step aside. Back in a moment.
Working to be the best. Teammates. Sponsored by the U.S. Army.
Let's hang together all day long, baby. Our day. Run.
As Dan Marino came closer to his record for career touchdown passes a few weeks ago,
Touchdown, Dolphins! Marino!
teammate Keith Byers asked to be his target. A pair of record-setting teammates, Marino and Byers, make Miami the best they can be.
And Dan Marino has broken another record. Most touchdown passes ever.
You will be called private, specialist, or sergeant. Beneath the ribbons on your chest will be the souls of those who came before. You will be an individual, but triumph as a team. You will know strength, courage, and compassion. You will win what must be won, achieve what must be done. Be all that you can be. You will be a soldier.
They're in the shape of little poodles. And when you walk, they bark.
Shopping for the holidays? Come to Wendy's for a Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich. It's a whole breast filet, Monterey Jack, and ranch dressing with bacon. At least you'll get one thing you like this holiday.
You build a razor with a precision groove to help the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer than ever before. And what do you get? The Norelco razor, our closest shave ever.
The injured player for the Cleveland Browns is number 79. That's Larry Webster, not number 78. Webster from Maryland, 6'5", a 288-pounder in his fourth year. And looks as if he's going to recover all right and be back in the ballgame. So with just over 6.5 left to go here in the third quarter, and the Browns up by 20 points, 23-3. Cincinnati just trying to get some semblance of an offense working here in the second half. And it is Harold Green. Dana Hall with the tackle for Cleveland.
You know, I talked about the running game that wasn't there for Cincinnati, and they're either running the ball or making the short pass work as the run right now. And this is what they need. You know, Green didn't get off to a very good start. Pepper Johnson told us, you know, you want to stop Green early, because the Green you stop early is the Green you really want to see. If you let Green get on a roll, you really don't like what you see, because he's a big running back.
Play action fake on first down. Now going deep, great arm, but overthrowing into coverage, and it'll be incomplete. Darnay Scott, the intended receiver. Boy, Blake can really unload it, can't he?
Well, he can bring it. He throws that kind of rainbow pass that drops out of the sky straight down. But look at the coverage job done down the field by Cleveland. And that's what Blake's been looking at most of this game. They are not going to give him that stuff down the field. They're going to make him go to the stuff underneath. And the stuff underneath is what they were dropping early.
Cleveland Stadium, of course, so many great professional football memories here. This young man's father, Don Shula, played for Paul Brown here. He and Carl Tassett were rookies at the same time, and Paul Brown never could tell them apart, and Shula got injured. And Paul Brown went out and says, Tassett, how are you? How are you doing? And Don looked and said, Shula, Coach. I'm Shula.
Yeah, it's a tough thing for Dave Shula to sort of go through. You talk about his dad,
yep.
You know, all the criticism he's been under right now. In Cincinnati, the articles about fire Dave Shula and the poll, they've been kind of like the poll family, because they're doing polls on both the dad and the son. The polls say both guys should be fired. And, you know, Dave Shula made the comment to us, which I think is very true. He says, you don't mind basic criticism about your business, but criticism, especially the kind that his dad was getting.
The personal.
Our personal.
There's no place for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the business.
That's right.
You know, there's guys that have said a long time that, you know, owners, like you're looking at Mike Brown there in Cincinnati, and his dad, Paul Brown, found out here there's two kind of coaches in the NFL. There are the coaches that have been fired and coaches that are going to be fired.
Second down and 10. Far side, pass is dropped. It's going to be. They're going to rule it in. No, they're going to rule it complete, I believe, on the sideline. Speaking of Don Shula, let's go to New York for an update on his game.
All right, Charlie, Don's not real pleased right now at Buffalo. Jim Kelly from 11 yards out finds Thurman Thomas alone in the end zone on 3rd and goal. 13-13 tie is broken. The Bills have grabbed the lead. They've gone to the 4th quarter. The Bills 20, Miami 13. Charlie?
Charlie, can you believe the poor Buffalo Bills? Thurman Thomas couldn't run with a bad hamstring, got 120 last week. Poor Jim Kelly couldn't throw with a bad shoulder. He had 4 touchdowns last week.
Right, yeah. And Marv Levy has to have major surgery, and he's back, and the Bills are back again. There's no question. This is Harold Green. Don Griffin was there for the defense.
And he's starting to run like that Harold Green that Pepper Johnson says you don't want to see. And this is the part of the field right here. You're talking about fourth down at about 2 yards, yard and a half. I think you go right here.
I think so. I think you're right.
You go at it. You bring in whoever you need to bring in, but a guy that could be very helpful here for Dave Shula is Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy is a small, quick, squirting runner, and he's also a very good receiver.
And Bieniemy is in the game. This is the option, and the pitch, and fumbled and dribbled, and then across and out of bounds. Cleveland says that they recovered it. It was Eric Bieniemy, former Colorado quarterback, like Slash Stewart of Pittsburgh.
Remember, that ball went out of bounds past the first down marker, but when you fumble the ball forwards out of bounds, the ball is marked back where it is fumbled. Never got possession of that ball. See that? He's past the first down, but you can't fumble a ball forward like that and pick up that kind of yardage.
And so the Browns hold, and they take over on downs. And that is the discussion that is going on. And Cleveland Stadium, again, just for a little sidebar, is that there's so many memories involved with Paul Brown in the stadium, and now we may have a reversal.
Well, he never had possession, Charlie. He never had possession of that ball to fumble, so it was never a fumble.
And you're going to say it was a lateral that was booted?
A muff?
A muff? That's right. And that is the discussion.
And you can tell by body language the Browns don't like it.
No. Now we're going to double check it. And Belichick is going to...
Well, I'd get away from that sideline because you're sure not going to get an impartial opinion there. Blake...
There's a lateral that's muffed.
Flips that out to that former Colorado quarterback you talked about, but that flip...
Now, what's the ball here?
It was never,
it's
ever...
Out of bounds. Okay.
Yeah, it's out of bounds, and it's past the first down marker, but it was never in the possession of the enemy. That ball came off him and was knocked forward by his momentum. It was nothing intentional.
Paul Widener with the headlines where it was down checking it right on top of that play, and now the officials are gathering again. And there's another conference. And a couple of explanations. And now the only thing they're really...
Fourth down play, if you had a fumble, then if it went forward, you bring it back. However, this was a backward pass. When the backward pass goes out of bounds, it belongs to that team at the spot where it went out of bounds. Therefore, they made the line the game. First down, Cincinnati.
That is a good call. That is a good call. And one of the reasons, and we criticize the officials for taking so much time in conferences, but this time it pays off with the correct call.
Right. It is not a forward lateral.
No.
It is a backward lateral.
It's a backward pass.
And it was never possession.
That's right.
That's why when I first said if it's possession, you can't fumble it forward. Well, there was never possession involved.
No, and Belichick knows that rule. And so now they're setting the change and getting it all squared away. And of course, he's going to disagree, but he's going to lose that argument. But still, he leads by 20 points, 23-3. With 4:43 left to go, we're in the third quarter.
Well, Jeff Blake and the Bengals need a big play right now. They need a big shot into the end zone to have any chance of getting into this game.
Now, after standing around, the defense standing around, milling around, is this a good time to try and hit them deep?
Anytime's a good time for these guys. They love going downtown. Bruce Coslet, their coordinator, loves calling the long ball.
They come back underneath. Good defensive play. And that is Mike Caldwell dropping James Joseph. We'll check out the ticker. There's that Buffalo-Miami score that we were talking about. Well, Philadelphia's coming back on Arizona now. Carolina's coming back on Atlanta.
I remember that first game between Atlanta and Carolina went overtime before Atlanta could beat them.
Look at Detroit.
I tell you,
they play in December, don't they? They just fool around and they play.
They play indoors in December real well.
That's right.
They're like Minnesota. They're completely different teams since they built those boxes at their place.
Now going deep, double coverage, and the intended receiver was Pickens, and he went up too soon. He really mistimed his lead, didn't he?
Yeah,
he doesn't
really
do that
did.
that often.
Now, it's unusual. Remember, Pickens, former high jumper at Tennessee, 7-foot type high jumper, just missed times that ball would not quite drop. And remember, the wind is coming from right to left. The wind held that thing up a little bit, I think, and held it up enough for him to mistime that jump.
Good catch. Good catch by you. Third down opportunities. Well, what have they done? Only 2 of 9. And this is a tough one. This is third down and 6.
Well, they've made third 17.
They'll try and do it on the ground. And they've got it. And guess who gets it? It's Eric Bieniemy, who figured a moment ago in the backward pass in the muff out of bounds. And he rambles for 12 yards.
Much like we talked about the combination type runners, Harold Green, big and physical. Eric Bieniemy, more of a small speed squirt guy that can just put on those little bursts of speed like that, and that's what he did. Cut to his right, burst back for the first down.
Dana Hall with the tackle, 38-yard line. First down. Quick out, right flat. Little spin move. That's David Dunn, the rookie from Fresno State, taken in the 5th round of the draft, and Dana Hall was there again. Dana Hall had a pretty good ball game last week, too.
Well, he did. He had an interception. He filled up well, had some good hits, and we haven't seen much of him, to be honest with you, because they really have done such an effective job in that defensive backfield of stopping down this long passing game.
34-yard line of the Browns.
If you're by nature a deep safety, a center fielder, it's always a good sign the less you're on TV.
Unless mother's watching, of course. Looking into the right flat, coming back over the middle, and then broke it up. They'll call pass interference.
Yeah, Caldwell had him around the back.
Mike Caldwell. Tony McGee, the intended receiver. Here's Jerry Austin.
Pass interference, number 56 of the defense. First down.
I always look.
They're never guilty.
Of course not.
Defensive players are never guilty. Watch, there's McGee right in the middle of the screen. There's Caldwell. It's not the left hand, folks. Don't be fooled by that look. It's the right hand wrapped around his waist before he got around him that was called for the interference.
It's like Law and Order. The first time they catch him, the second half, they spend half an hour arguing the case.
You always give the official that old line. You're going to believe me or your lying eyes?
First down. And to the air again. Wants to set up a screen, then he's going to throw it away. Eric Bieniemy, and he was close enough so that he's not going to be called for grounding it. But the Cleveland Browns infiltrated all of the screen. Whoa.
Yeah, well, Burnett got to Blake that time. Now watch where Blake is. Is he inside the tackles? That's a straight drop back. Now he's scrambled out. See, he's outside the hash marks. Now he's outside the tackle. Now he can throw the ball away. Belichick was trying to sell the fact that that was a penalty. It was not grounding. He was outside the tackle.
Well, Bieniemy was over there, too. And as part of that screen, you couldn't hardly see him. This is the 12th play of the drive. But that's a good thing to always remember. Once you get outside the hashes, you can get away with murder. Play action fake up the middle. Doesn't bother anybody. Here comes Blake up the middle. He's going to bother him, and he's learning to slide. Oh, he needs a mark here, and I don't know if he's going to get it or not.
I think he's going to be just a little short. Yeah. But I tell you what, he saved
he got a bad mark.
He saved his physical well-being.
Yes, he did.
It's where you start your slide, though, Charlie. It's not where you end up.
It's where the hip is, right?
Yeah.
When the hip goes down, where's the ball?
Watch where he goes down. The first place it contacts the ground is where the spot should be. Now watch what comes above his head right about here. That's a very good reason to get down on the ground, because you got a DB coming in to try to take your head off, and Don Griffin.
Third down, yard and a half, maybe two, and a stumble on the handoff. And that was Eric Bieniemy who lost his footing. He's going to come up short. It'll be fourth down, maybe a foot and a half, something like that. And so they obviously will go for it here.
Oh, he stumbled right into the back of the legs of the offensive line. Watch the right side with Kalis and Walker. Joe Walter, 63, the right tackle. See him bent back there in the middle? Ouch. No surprise here. They did it around the 40-yard line. Fourth down, they're going for it.
Oh, sure. Melvin Tootin comes in. Harold Green comes in. And we've got time call. Cleveland stops the clock.
There's a second.
They take a timeout.
They had to take a timeout, Charlie, because the play clock had gotten down to 1 second. Blake saw that and called the timeout.
But they pointed to Cleveland. Now, they may have been against Cincinnati. So we'll double check that to make sure. I thought perhaps that they felt they had the wrong personnel in the game for a fourth down attempt and not a field goal attempt.
You saw Pepper Johnson there talking to Belichick and Rick Venturi, the defensive coach.
Yeah, Cleveland did call it.
That was a Cleveland timeout there. That's very curious because Blake was about to run out of time.
Yeah. So we have 54 seconds left to go in the third. Browns up by a score of 23-3. As you see, Cleveland now with only one timeout remaining. The Bengals have two left in the ball game. We, of course, still have 54 seconds plus the fourth quarter. And next week the Browns are at Jacksonville to wrap up the season, and the Cincinnati Bengals will return home to host the Miami Vikings.
This is
Minnesota Vikings.
This is as important as it gets for Cincinnati. They score here with their big playability. They are in the ball game.
Well, they need the first down here, though, to be in it. And they're throwing 4th and 1, and it is incomplete. I don't understand that call.
That's
I know
incredible.
that you've been struggling with your running game.
Yeah, but I don't care how bad you're struggling. I mean, that is just not a very good play call. Because everybody is completely covered. There's nowhere to go. Antonio Langham playing with that banged-up shoulder. Watch Green. Do something to the running back. Let your running, there's nowhere to go here. You know, Cleveland called that pass down by the goal line. You know, there's no-brainers and there's no-brainers. No-brainers are easy decisions. No-brainers sometimes are, what were you using?
Well, we've had a
fair
no-brainer brain.
No-brainer B.
Does the coordinator need a brain? 20-yard line, so the Browns take over on down. And you have a feeling that Blake was not any more thrilled with that call than we were.
Well, there's Kenny Anderson, the quarterback's coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. Constant communication there upstairs with Bruce Coslett, the offensive coordinator. And that's huge for this Bengal team that, remember, is still not mathematically eliminated from the wild card, but they're getting close right here.
Ernest Biner's last 4 carries, he's been shut down for no yardage, play action fake, and then coming back to the tight end over the middle. And here is Frank Hartley, who has a touchdown in the ball game. He rambled for 21 yards, 6'2", 268 pounds. First down into the quarter. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
NBC takes you on an adventure to man's first footprints in time. Unlock the mysterious wonder of ancient Egypt. Lost Civilization, 7/6 Central, NBC tonight.
At AutoZone, most of our customers are the kind of people who like to work on their cars themselves. That way they save money, and they know the work's done right. Of course, when they come to AutoZone, they know they're going to find the right part for the right price. But sometimes, what they're looking for is just a little advice. And that's okay, because we don't put a price tag on it. You see, at AutoZone, we take pride in taking care of our customers. And we've learned that when you treat folks right, they keep coming back.
Get more boombox for your buck. Circuit City. You can't find a lower price. We guarantee it.
Terry Bradshaw here for Dick's. It's all about team. Check out Starter from Dick's.
Get off the bench with Starter NFL and NHL hats, jerseys, and jackets featuring all your favorite teams. Or hoop it up with Starter NBA jackets. Plus, check out the all-new Starter caps and jackets. Starter, it's all about team.
Dick's. Starter from Dick's. The right stuff at the right price.
Tom Burrs has your forecast weeknights on Cincinnati's News 5.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
The Cleveland fans coming to Municipal Stadium today, they're not ripping the tickets. They're pressing them and embossing them with the date. 12/17/95. So everyone that comes to the game has a little keepsake and can actually say they were there.
A memento of history. Pass is low, but it is pulled in. And it's Keenan McCardle who makes the play for Cleveland. And the Browns have a player down. We have an injury timeout. This will not be a charged timeout. But it does stop the clock with 14 minutes and 50 seconds. As Steve Everett, the center, has been bothered by a hamstring. In fact, was inactive last week. And Vinny comes to the sideline to talk things over. We're going to step aside. We'll be back in a moment.
Is that Johnson's team behind us?
Exactly.
Are they members of Hertz number 1 Club Gold?
Exactly.
Are we members of Hertz number 1?
Not exactly.
So thanks to Hertz, they're going to get to the meeting on time.
And we'll be late? So exactly what do I tell the boss?
In rent-a-car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
And then a dog in the cargo hold ate our presentation.
Is he buying it?
Not exactly.
You think in color.
computer thinks in color. So how come everything you print comes out black and white? Black and white. The Epson Stylus color printers, starting at $349 for the kind of brilliant color that will let your ideas be heard. You've got to see it in Epson color.
Tonight feels kind of weird, but it's a good weird. I can feel it in my bones. This is not going to be your run-of-the-mill laundry doing pizza eating kind of night. I will not be exercising tonight, or philosophizing, or organizing. What I am going to do is look for women who look like trouble, and I'm going to flirt with them heavily. Because tonight, I'm not just drinking beer. I'm gulping life. I'm going to eat the night alive. What are you going to do? Molson Ice. Step outside.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Epson. For brilliant photo quality color printing, you've got to see it in Epson color. By De Beers, a diamond is forever. And by Prime Star, digital mini dish satellite television.
And this could well be the last look at the dog pound.
And thank goodness in some cases. Some looks...
oh, yes.
Yes.
Nothing in there. Nothing there for his minor. Copeland stops it. It'll be third down.
You know, as a guy that grew up on the West Coast, I never, ever understood whatever possessed a person to get in cold weather and take off their shirt.
Well, perhaps I could explain it this way. There is a big construction, about 6 feet by 6 feet of a doghouse that it takes 8 people to bring in, but only 2 to take out because the keg is inside of it. And it's heavy coming in and light going out. Perhaps that unravels part of the mystery. Here's Andre Rison, and he's going to pick up the first down as the Browns convert on a third down opportunity. Corey Sawyer. And Rison, he thrives on it. He thrives on it.
Coming into this game, Charlie, Cincinnati was very concerned with the running game of Cleveland. They haven't stopped the running game. When you don't do that, you open up the other things. But Cleveland so far against Cincinnati this year is averaging 138 yards rushing. Against the rest of the league, 72 yards a game. So that tells you why they're so worried.
Yeah. That's a 2-to-1 disparity. And here is Ernest Biner. He got off to that great start in the first half and now has 80 yards and 24 carries. It looked like it was a slam dunk for 100 yards, but he really has been struggling here in the second half.
You know,
only 16 yards in the second half.
Wally Williams went to center for one play. Steve Everett's back in, but you can see jumble around the line any way you want. But this Cleveland offense has got its proverbial act together today.
Yeah. Cleveland leading by a score of 23-3. 12:48, taking the countdown. Time remaining, what could well be the last game ever here at Cleveland Stadium. Ernest Biner again. And his struggle continues. Well, they have at least figured out his moves in the second half. It's going to be third down and 6.
Yeah, it is amazing right now what this Cleveland offense has looked like for 3/4 of this football game compared to what they looked like and what we saw last week in Minnesota and what we've seen on tape. It's like two different teams.
Biner lost a yard. 9 carries, only 15 yards in the second half. They'll be throwing here. Testaverde sends 5 receivers out. And it is Andre Rison. And Rison catches it at about the 30, adds 7 more at the end of the play, encourages the boos, picks up a total of 16. We'll give you a run on his totals in the ball game because he's had a lot of boos. 6 receptions, 73 yards.
They can boo all they want. Last time he had a big game against the Bengals when Eric Zier was a quarterback for the Browns. And today, so far, in the last home game of the season, or maybe ever for Cleveland, he is finally hooking up aggressively with Vinny Testaverde.
And here is Biner. He scoots through, picks up 4 or 5 yards. But Walderstadt making the tackle. And this is a ball club that the last 6 games over the last 6 weeks, the official announcement was 5 games ago, and they really, since the announcement of the move to Baltimore, have not played well at all. but they have played well here.
Well, you know, they showed this offense earlier in the year. This is the kind of offensive production that...
That's the way they started the season,
Well, it's
right?
what made people think this was a Super Bowl team. That and a defense that only gave up 204 points last year. This offense has been totally absent.
Viner jumping to the outside. Kimo von Oelhoffen making the tackle.
And you talked about that move. We're talking about the last 6 games since November 6th. Since that announcement, 0-6, can't score points, give up a whole bunch, and look at that, a 20 turnover difference in 6 weeks. I mean, that's not only just poor, lackluster performance, that's very, very bad concentration on the part of the players. I mean, it's inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. You can't use this move and everything else as an excuse when you're playing this bad.
3rd down and 3. End zone, and it is incomplete.
But like we keep saying, Charlie, it's a different team. And, you know, Vinny throws the ball to McCardle, gets a little high. He's begging for a penalty, but you start getting on this kind of a roll and things are working well effectively. You think you can make things happen. It has not happened for Bill Belichick's team this year.
Matt Stover has made things happen in this ball game. He is 3 for 3. He now has a total of 28 field goals on the year. This would be his 29th. This is on a personal high. He's already passed that mark. And this is from the 25, an attempt of 35 yards. And he has got it from 35 yards away. Stover, 404, 26-3. Browns back for the kickoff.
Here's a gift the whole family will enjoy. Not just day after day, but year after year. The gift of Prime Star. The only satellite TV you can get without having to buy a dish. A service that offers up to 95 channels in digital picture and sound with no equipment to buy. Starting at about $1 a day. To give this special holiday gift, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR and enjoy the holidays.
Unique, with an inner fire and an irresistible natural beauty. There's no mistaking a brilliance that lasts forever. This Christmas, surprise her with a diamond beyond all her expectations.
It's Gus's Guide to the Game. Going deep. The most exciting part of the game. Begin with the right call. Yes. Then the technique.
Notice how I extend the thumb and forefinger, palm outstretched to support the massive weight of the ultimate deep dish.
The ultimate deep dish. Extra thick, extra zesty. Call now and get a large one-topping deep dish, just $9.99.
Sully, extend the pinky.
The man is a pro.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and have Domino's deliver the ultimate deep dish pizza. Because when it's gotta be deep, it's gotta be Domino's.
Cleveland has scored on his last 6 possessions. 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals.
And they're under the towel, Andre Rison.
He's hiding from his fans.
You can't hear the boos as well when you got a towel over your head if you stick enough of it in your ears.
But like you said, he doesn't care as long as he catches them. 6-yard line. Here is Jeff Hill on the return. Pretty good return across the 30, out to around the 32-yard line. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents another exciting NFL doubleheader starting at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Featured in a doubleheader lineup, playoff spots are online, and classic divisional rivalry as comeback kid John Elway leads his Broncos into Oakland to take on Tim Brown and the Raiders, both looking for wild card spots. The early matchups, most of you to see the Cleveland Browns as they head to Jacksonville for a meeting with the Jaguars. Others to see Brett Favre and the Packers hosting Neil O'Donnell and the AFC Central champion Steelers. Late game, you will see that Denver-Oakland game showdown. So check your local listings for the game in your area. Good reception, reaching up and pulling it down is 6'2" Carl Pickens, and he has 12 yards and a first down for the Cincinnati Bengals over Don Griffin, who was covering him.
Well, really, that's 2 guys right there. Now watch Pickens attack the ball. Last week I was talking about Chris Carter's a guy that attacks the ball. Right there, Pickens actually went after the ball, never gave Griffin a chance to bat that thing away because the ball never got near his body.
3-step drop, little swing, right side. Pretty good reception by James Joseph. He's going to end up with 5 or 6.
They had Joseph
They punish him, don't they?
They had him all stood up, ready to go, and he comes through, and they fall down. Watch what happens. Look at Langham. He's got him stood up. Joseph, open him up, set him up for Hall. Hall got a lot more Langham, I think, than he got Joseph there, and Joseph's the one that goes forward.
Yeah, and he also picked up a block on another Brown that was coming to put him away. 2nd and 5. Low throw, incomplete, into double coverage. And another Brown is down. No, he just slow getting up. They're colliding with each other a lot today, aren't they?
Well, and this is the kind of weather in this type of a location. You remember, this stadium is right on a lake, so it's kind of a cold, wet, damp air.
Yes.
Hits hurt more here. I mean, you can get hit hard indoors and get hit just as hard out here. It hurts more because I think a hit indoors only hurts your flesh. When it's cold, it hurts your bones.
Deep over the middle again, attacking the ball. Here's Pickens. He turns, 15, 10, and is going to be caught at the 5-yard line by Dana Hall. 47 yards on the play. Carl Pickens from Jeff Blake.
And what we saw there is exactly what killed the Cleveland defense last week. The yards after the catch. Pickens catches the ball, and then he is gone. That is not rallying to the ball. That's not good basic defense, but Pickens so far today, only 4 catches for 86 yards, and comes off out of the ground there holding that left wrist.
They spotted at the 40-yard line where it's 1st down and goal to go, with Bieniemy and Joseph the running back. Play clock running down. Here is Bieniemy slipping a tackle. He's going to lose a yard.
Nice play right there by Walker.
Larry Webster was the first Brown to get to it.
Yeah, Webster gets through. Watching it through the line of scrimmage right here. From the backside, comes clean through that gap. That's just a good aggressive arm rip-through move.
Yeah, Pickens is okay. He's back in the lineup.
And what he adds, really, especially when he's out wide like that, is that lofting high pass he can go up after.
2nd down, goal to go. Throwing it back right at the goal line and not in. It is Pickens who caught it, and he was covered immediately by Rashawn Adams.
Well, they tried to hide him coming across. Look at him come in motion. Then he stops. Then he comes behind the linebackers, underneath the defensive backs. Rashawn Adams is right on him. Dana Hall puts on the hit and saves the points.
And they're working on Pickens.
Remember, he got up real slow, holding that left wrist earlier on that long pass play.
You have the feeling, though, this is a little bit more than a wrist as he kind of lays back for a moment. Starts to get up. They said, no, just wait a minute. And we will as we step aside. Back in a moment.
Maybe you helped and didn't know it, or were part of it and just forgot. If you joined the American Express Charge Against Hunger over the last 2 years, you made a difference. But the fight isn't over. Every time you use your American Express card, we'll give to Share Our Strength, a leading anti-hunger group. Because now through December 31st, the Charge Against Hunger is on again.
This holiday season, the only action in town is on the ice. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sudden Death, Rated R, starts Friday.
Skill Power Tools make such quick work of all your projects. You'll find time to get out there and work on all kinds of things. Skill Power Tools. Think of all the things you can do.
Ah, the fresh autumn air.
Oh, the total darkness.
Where are those darn flashlights?
Ow.
Still works.
Dependable Duracell batteries.
Nothing lasts longer.
We haven't used these since that blackout 2 years ago. Hey, where's mine?
The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
There's one thing we want for Christmas.
And we got it. Respect.
They've earned it. Back-to-back NBA champions. Now the Rockets are going for the three-peat. Christmas Day after the Spurs meet the Suns, they take on Shaq and the Magic in a finals rematch.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
7 minutes and 9 seconds, that is the time remaining. And they're still working on Carl Pickens. I mentioned a couple of times, and I know that those of you that have been here, that have watched games, or the Browns fans around the world that have been watching today, there's so many memories that go back, and one that comes to my mind immediately is that the name Taxi Squad came from here. Because when the Browns were formed immediately after the war, Mickey McBride was one of the owners. And he also owned the cab company here in Cleveland. And so when players couldn't quite make the team, then he'd have to go drive cabs around town. And then if somebody got hurt, he needed them, then they'd call him in and say, okay, now you can stop driving and you can come play. And that's where Taxi Squad came.
Well, that's hopefully what they hope for, is that these fans are not left with just their memories. Yeah, I talked to Kenny Anderson earlier today. He said back when Paul Brown was coaching the Bengals, he used to make the team come in here and look around and walk them around the field, because he'd always tell them that it was a cavernous stadium, as he referred to it as. And there's Kenny Anderson. He said, especially the young guys, he goes, this place, when it's full and it's rocking, I don't want you to use an excuse that the stadium and the crowd affected you.
And here's Pickens again. The crowd, 55,875, with over 10,000 no-shows, and that's a pretty good crowd. They expected more no-shows, and we'll take another look.
Now watch Pickens come in. You saw Dana Hall comes right in there, catches him on the left shoulder side of the head.
61 is eligible, number 61.
Melvin Tootin again will be an eligible receiver. He comes in as the third tight end. And it's going to be third down.
Well, Melvin Tootin's already fulfilled every offensive lineman's dream. He's caught a touchdown.
From the 1-yard line. On the option, there's the pitch. It is behind Bieniemy. This time he hangs on to it, and he scores.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that is a wonderful play by Bieniemy, because Blake coming down the line is obviously a little out of practice with his pitching ability to the backside to his halfback. Watch it right here. Deshaun Adams plays it perfectly. Talk about some hands by Bieniemy, and then maintaining your momentum forward as you're twisting sideways to catch the ball. That's just a great effort by Bieniemy.
And the extra point attempt by Pelfrey. High snap, he pulls it down, it is up, and it is good. And Cincinnati with their first touchdown in the ball game. As we take another look, we'll step aside. 26-10. Browns lead a juggling act by Eric Bieniemy.
kukhona engikuzwayo lokunkekethayo ngala kuyini kona lokho
I-IBM kick drills.
ilikhawe lento
The human face, a landscape, difficult terrain where certain hairs grow taller, longer. Introducing a revolutionary 3-stage shaving system, Braun Flex Integral. The first foil removes short hairs. An integrated cutter shaves longer hairs. Then the second foil completes the job. New Flex Integral, for Braun's closest shave yet. Braun, the world's most recognized shave.
Are you planning on serving heartburn for the holidays?
But, Dad, you love peppers.
I love sausage too, but my stomach.
Ah, wait till you see the appetizer.
Pepsid AC acid controller?
Take one little Pepsid AC before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it even starts.
Stop heartburn before it starts?
You see, Dad, Pepsid AC controls acid for 9 hours through the night, so you can sleep.
Oh. Say, you think we have enough peppers?
For the holidays, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Tonight on NBC's Merry Movie Weekend, it's the original holiday comedy classic. Chevy Chase, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Beverly D'Angelo, and Randy Quaid. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, NBC tonight.
Cincinnati scoring their first touchdown of the ball game. Cleveland leading 26-10. Hans' team is aboard for the Browns, looking for the onside kick. And they go deep into the end zone as Derek Alexander just watches it. And we have the touchback. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line with 6 minutes and 45 seconds left here at Cleveland Stadium.
Well, I'm afraid this might be a little too late for Jeff Blake and company on offense. The big play on that scoring drive was Pickens down the sideline, getting those yards after the catch. Then that short play to get him down at about the 1-yard line, and then the option to Bieniemy from Jeff Blake. You see right there, the Pro Bowler. He might be cold now, but come late January, early February in Hawaii, where the Pro Bowl's played, he'll be plenty warm.
20-yard line. Now the Browns will work on the clock, and of course they will use Ernest Biner. And he's going to pick up about 6 yards on the left-hand side. The margin now is 16 points. Buffalo, as you see, back in front of Miami, 23-20. 2 touchdowns.
Cincinnati, that's their second. It'll be a 40-second timeout.
Cincinnati with that timeout, but 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and then you're right back in the ballgame. But you need a break, and you need it soon. You need the defense to do something to pick up a fumble and score.
Yeah, you need,
to give you momentum. You can't
need a
just wait.
turnover for a touchdown from Dave Shula's standpoint. You've got to have quick points, because down by this many points, you're not going to get anything very flashy. You haven't gotten anything flashy from Bill Belichick and the Browns, and you'll get less flashy kind of offense out of them now.
Following the game here on NBC, it's the conclusion of the Lexus Challenge hosted by Raymond Floyd. Celebrities including Clint Eastwood, Dr. J, Brian Gumble, and others pair up with golf's biggest names like Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and the host Raymond Floyd in golf's newest event, 2-man best ball for $1 million. That's next on NBC.
Now, that's a great event Floyd's got going. I enjoyed a couple of weeks ago that father-son challenge.
Yes, that was fun.
I taped that. That was fun to watch some of those guys play, and the looks on their face getting to play in a competitive situation with their sons was pretty nice.
Yes. All right, Biner's first down as we go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie. Carl Pickens, the wide receiver, has a slight concussion. They're concerned about him. He will not return. However, they want to emphasize right now it is just a slight concussion. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Jim. The boos in the background, the extra security that is now beginning to circle the field here at Cleveland Stadium. Jim Gray, of course, addressed that at the top of the telecast. And so it's here for everybody's protection. And so far, now, it's been very calm, and it's been the way that you would want it to be. First down for Cleveland, and the score is the way that you would want it to be if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. You're up by a score of 26-10, and Ernest Biner carries. And will that do it for him? 102 yards and 30 carries for Ernest Biner, and that is the first 100-yard rusher since Hurd did it in 1994, right?
But Leroy Horde was the last guy,
Yeah.
94, well,
a year ago.
That's the one thing that was missing this entire year. Remember last year, this team was smashing the ball down the field. Vinny Testaverde was completing high percentage passes to his receivers. They were playing great defense. Suddenly, after 15 very poor showings, or at least 6 or 7 very poor showings, the same offense shows up that everybody thought they'd have at the beginning of the year.
And here is Biner as he pops through, cuts back, and is finally swarmed under, but a huge gain of 19 yards. Remember, he's now over 120 on the ball game.
Remember what we said? If you thought the boring part was early, get up by 16 points with less than 5 minutes to go in a ball game and see how boring the play calling gets then. Then you're all you're going to get is that straight smash you in the face type of running game with a running back who's running right now like it's always downhill.
Now he comes out, gets a bit of a breather.
He's got all offseason to rest. I wouldn't rest him now. I'd keep giving him the ball. Look at the differential in total yards there.
Ricky Powers is now the tailback. He has the ball. And we've got a couple of flags that are going to stop the play. And usually indicates one of two things, a false start or time has expired.
I think time expired. Ran that thing down a little too low.
The ball snap, false start on the left guard. 5 yards, it's still first down.
Probably both things at the same time. So 4-19. The Browns, with a win here, the record on the year would be 5 victories against 10 defeats. And the Bengals, this would be their 9th loss against 6 wins. The ball at the 50-yard line, and the last bark this afternoon from the dog pound here at Cleveland Stadium. First down, 15. Lead to the right side. And Powers moves around the corner, about 4 yards on the play to the 46. That will be it. Daryl Williams takes him out.
I think that's a bit severe. You don't think so, huh?
Well, they know something.
Well, these are fabulous football fans.
They really are. They have a great
They
time.
deserve football.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to have this football team. But like I said earlier, I mean, you know, this is a game now that's going to be run by corporations and billionaires. And there's no place for it anymore, I think, for the family ownership type standpoint. And you're not going to see that anymore.
And I'm nodding my head in complete agreement with you.
And the problem when you get in that situation is the fans and the little guys are not very important to the corporations and the billionaires.
Cincinnati, that's their third.
Cincinnati takes their last timeout. It becomes a bottom line, just like any other corporate business. But still, on Sunday afternoons, for 3 hours, it is a game.
See, that's how important it is. On a busy season like this, he's got the time to make it here.
I would have been disappointed if he hadn't been here today.
He and all those reindeers got their embossed tickets.
That's right. And I asked him how you were doing this year, and he said, still mixed emotions. Waiting to see if you finish strong in the next week. Ernest Biner is back in for the Cleveland Browns. It'll be 3rd down and 8, 4 minutes and 9 seconds. And you'd almost figure that they would run 2 plays here.
Look at the pieces.
Yes.
See, now
little by little, the memorabilia.
Well, I figured that
starting to take shape.
I figured that socket wrenches and wrenches were big in the paraphernalia coming in here because people are going to start taking seats. Oh, almost that turnover you talked about earlier, Charlie.
Throwing the screen. Brett Walderstedt was there for Cincinnati, and now the pushing and shoving, that will delay things for a moment. 4:03, that is the time remaining. It's going to be 4th down.
That's the main difference. The main difference between you and I at the end of this ball game and the rest of these people is you and I aren't going home with our seats.
No, that's right.
I think a lot of these people are going home with the seats. See, now they've messed up. See, now you don't want to do, if you don't have a saw with you, that's no good for you because you can't break that out of the stadium. Now, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, unless you're on a bus, you can't get that plank in there.
This is the first punt. It's a 9-minute mark in the first quarter.
Now, if you're in one of those little small seats with the little tiny slats, the baseball type seats, those go in the, I mean, those fine. Those break down. You break that thing down like a shotgun and stuff it under your coat, and you got it home with you.
43 yards. We love you, man. Cincinnati bringing everybody, trying to get the turnover.
We love you, man. And somewhere Mr. Modell's going, you still can't have my football team. I'm sorry.
In the end, possibly it is, at least for a little while. And an interesting future, and a lot of things could well unfold. But the one thing, the reaction across the country and around the world, we of course have documented some of it today in the last 6 weeks. All of the media, from Sports Illustrated down to your weekly magazines or your weekly sports journals or your weekly newspapers or your bi-weekly papers, and it's all been the same story. The fans of the Cleveland Browns deserve a professional football team. And here comes Blake to throw. Juggled, and it is incomplete. James Joseph, the intended receiver. Griffin had the coverage on it.
You know, NBC, we did a great thing on the pregame show, I think, a week ago with that whole thing on free agency.
Yes.
You know, and one thing that came out of this free agency in our current situation is, you know, in that agreement between the players and the NFL, the players got a lot of great things. The NFL got a lot of great things. The one thing the league never dreamed in its worst nightmare that they had to build into a collective bargaining agreement was protecting itself from inside. And that's where the flaw is now in the CBA. The flaw in the CBA is there's nothing inside to keep the other owners from sort of feeding on themselves and feeding on the league. They don't have a bad collective bargaining agreement. They're just, they're starting to act like baseball owners. They're starting to forget about the tradition in the heart of this game. The heart of this game are the people that are taking home seats and ripping up the stands. And the heart of this game are fans just like this.
Larry Webster knocking the last one away. And here is the draw to Eric the enemy. Pepper Johnson with the tackle. 3.5 minutes, and that is it here at Cleveland Stadium. Time remaining. 26-10. Browns are leading. Browns have had a very good showing today.
Guy, there's a bad hair day.
A true bad hair day. 4th down and 4. And it is too high, incomplete. And so Cleveland holds, and they will take over. David Dunn, the intended receiver.
And what is done, too, right now are Cincinnati's playoff hopes are done.
Yes.
They came in here hoping for 8-8 and a shot, and they aren't going to get it.
And don't forget this program note following the game here on NBC. It's the conclusion of the Lexus Challenge hosted by Raymond Floyd.
Scoreboard to show 0 timeouts for Cincinnati.
And correction of the scoreboard. There it is, the Lexus Challenge, and that is next.
Yeah, I like that whole idea, too, because, you know, it's basically kind of like the Crosby idea.
It was the original Crosby, the original clam bake when it started in Rancho Santa Fe, California.
See, instead of all the corporate invitees they have now in all the celebrity things, here's a celebrity golfer inviting celebrity friends.
Come have some fun with it. And then share it all on NBC. Ricky Powers gets the call. And now, of course, the Browns, as they have, the last 10 or 12 minutes, they just want to work on the clock and to run it down.
They've been running down the clock since 1 o'clock.
That's right. They started out working the clock.
Bill Belichick started running out the clock as soon as it started ticking down from 60. It was 59, 58, and it was gone. It was running out the clock. And Cincinnati didn't stop it then. They haven't stopped it now, and they're just getting a face full of Browns right now.
2nd down and 8. Powers, the running back. He has the ball, and we've got flags. This call will go against the Browns.
Ball start, number 89 before the snap, 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
That's on tight end Harold Bishop. Let's check out Benny Testaverde's statistics on the afternoon. They will not come into play here, but he has had a very good day, completing 22 of 32. He's thrown for 241 yards and 2 touchdowns. And a cherry bomb goes off in the end zone. Now they'll take the countdown to the 2-minute warning.
And they're doing exactly, you know, look at he's just sort of motioning down. There goes the rest of the bench. See, now they don't need a saw. That's one thing. A mob can come in handy. You don't need a saw if you got a mob. They can break up boards.
Right. 2 minutes. We have the 2-minute warning. We'll step aside. Back in a moment.
Wendy's presents What's Hot.
Come on, Al, let's go, baby!
In the AFC West, Seattle may seem an afterthought. But over the past month, the Seahawks and Chris Warren have put on the afterburners. Winners 5 times in their last 6 games, the Seahawks have followed Chris Warren's inspired running to victory. For the 4th consecutive year, Warren has shattered the 1,000-yard barrier, making him and the Seahawks what's hot.
Sir, they're in the shape of little poodles. And when you walk, they bark.
Shopping for the holidays?
We have 2 gigabytes, 16 megs of RAM.
We have a suggestion to help you through it.
It's a virtual reality mask. Look out! We're being invaded by spacemen.
Come to Wendy's for a delicious Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich. It's a whole breast filet, Monterey Jack, and a dollop of creamy ranch dressing blended with bacon.
That way everyone gets something they love for the holidays.
Come to Wendy's for a Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich today.
Natural ability only takes you so far. The right equipment counts for a lot. That's why I like Pert Plus. It gets the job done right. Cleans and conditions in one step. No fuss. Eventually, we all cross the finish. Winners just find a better way to get there.
Happy holidays from Energizer.
Next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, the Pittsburgh Steelers battle the Green Bay Packers. Traditional powers meet on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Then the Denver Broncos take on the Oakland Raiders. A Wild West matchup with everything on the line. Original action. An NFL on NBC doubleheader next Sunday.
And the message to Browns fans all over the world. You are unique, and your support through the years has been extraordinary. It's been a great run. Former and current Browns players and coaches, thank you.
And that was their reaction, though. They went crazy. They started throwing planks and boards, and what the officials did, they spun them around, and now they're heading in the other direction to get away from that dog.
Get away from the dog pound. This is the 3rd time in the history of the dog pound at the end of a ball game that this has taken place.
Well, the fans didn't think much of that message.
No, they disagreed with it.
Well, to me, you know what that said?
It's a put down to the fans.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, to me, that message right there said, don't go away mad, just go away. Yeah. And when you make a mob mad and they start getting, see, now they were happy for boards. Now they're going for whole seating sections. They're starting to come out of the stands now. And you know, guess where that's going to end up? That's not going to be in a bus. That's not going to end up anywhere else. See that one seat the guy's holding up?
Yeah, he's cool.
He's smart. That's going under the jacket. Right. These are going to be thrown onto the field.
See, it's missing right now.
So somebody ought to get out of the way, because there it comes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 120 and counting. 4 season tickets right down the tube. And this is 4th down, and Cleveland, of course, just working on the clock as they have it documented throughout the ballgame. 109.
You know, this is the NFL in '95, and we look at that pile of seats they've thrown over the edge there. Well, I'm going to figure this out real quick. The PSLs, the personal seat licenses, we got to have about 20 seats there. At about, 4,000 a crack, got about 80,000
right there.
Personal seat licenses sitting in the ground, all broken and battered there.
Yeah. And if they make a bonfire and toast some marshmallows, it'd be very expensive.
Yeah, that's I think a lot of fans would love to burn seats they have to pay the right to buy tickets to a game for.
Wide open over the middle. As Cincinnati comes back to Darnay Scott. 21 yards. They're now in a hurry-up mode. 57 seconds and counting. They are out of timeouts. They can spike it here to stop the clock. They're going to come out throwing. And here's the screen. And it's Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy to the 45-yard line. Clock still moving. 40 seconds and counting. Now you look for the spike here. Everybody hurry up and get back. He's going to spike it. Or is he going to fake the spike?
Hurry up and get back.
He's shown the spike. No, he does spike.
He spiked it, Charlie. You better hurry up and get back in the huddle, but you also better hurry up and not go near the stadium, the edges of the stadium here.
It's interesting. I wonder if they will want to turn it around here.
There's coordination.
Cincinnati Bengals.
That's a little coordination.
Teamwork.
That takes teamwork.
Teamwork. You'll see teamwork in the Lexus Challenge.
Exactly.
Coming up next.
With a professional player, a senior professional, and a celebrity amateur.
That's a professional segue.
That's right. See, I've been in this stadium. I mean,
they are going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around again, yeah.
Charlie, I first came here, like 18 years ago in '77. It was a dump in '77. It's a dump now. But, I came to a baseball game here 2 years ago. I mean, there were seats that I don't think had been painted since Bob Feller was pitching here.
Well, Jim Brown's great line says, I love the stadium, and I love the locker room, it is exactly the same as when I played here.
That's one thing unique about sports in this country. You know, one guy's dump is somebody else's tradition.
Third down and a yard, 30 seconds. Far side, you need to get out of bounds, and you do. And that, of course, is David Dunn, the rookie from Fresno State. And a special weapon waiting. He doesn't have to get airborne, though, for about 6 or 7 days. And I'm counting on him to come by my house.
He makes a list of people that are nice.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
And a list of people that are naughty, right, Charlie?
That's right.
I think the local fans have got a rather short list of people they'd like to see not get anything for Christmas.
Yeah, but I got 3 grandkids that can hardly wait. It's going to be a great Christmas. And we hope that it's a great one for you, wherever you are on Christmas Day. Knocked away and almost intercepted. Oh, a good defensive play. Rob Burnett. He's had an excellent game.
He and Footman and Webster have really done a job on that side.
Jim Brown looking on to what could well be the final game here at Cleveland Stadium. He said if the ball club does move, he will not be a part of it anymore.
There's a guy who would definitely want to say, you know, sort of a penny for your thoughts right now. He told Jim Gray in the pregame that, you know, I'm going to keep it all inside. It's not coming out, but it's got to be screaming to get out right about now for Jim Brown.
Blake running, throwing, and it is incomplete. That stops the clock now with 14 seconds. It will be third down. And even though many of the fans have left, as we look around, there were some 55,000 plus, the dog pound is intact. Mike Brown looking on.
The drive against Denver, the fumble against Denver, and the latter 95
against the fans of the Browns. Flag is down on the play. They're going to stop it. Anthony Pleasant is called off at the last possible moment. You know what could have been a
false start, number 61, 5 yards, still third down.
False start on Melvin Tootin. It could have been an unpleasant afternoon. I think the officials here have really kept this game well in control.
Oh, they have, and I mean, it's just been a good performance by Cleveland here. Cincinnati just came in and really played terribly, and Cleveland had a good game plan and executed it perfectly.
Pass over the middle is complete to David Dunn. May take the countdown because they will not get another playoff. And Jeff Blake's streak at 21 games with a touchdown pass is snapped. Randy Cross and Charlie Jones, it has been our pleasure to cover what could well be the final game here at Cleveland Stadium with the score 26-10 Cleveland Browns. And now let's go next door to Bob Costas. Bob?
All right, Charlie, as you said, it might well be the final Browns home game. As everyone is aware, there are a lot of potential scenarios, including this very franchise remaining here or another franchise soon arriving to fill the void if Art Modell succeeds in taking them in the near future or immediate future off to Baltimore. But in any case, this represents the closing of a chapter of some kind. And so not just for this day or for this season, but for this era, from all of us at NBC Sports, a salute to what the Cleveland Browns have been and to the fans who have supported them so well for so long. Here's a look back. And so long for today from Cleveland.